Well, any favorite French word or phrase?
Qu'est-ce que c'est? So I had a lot of opportunity. After 13 weeks, you can take as much time off as you want. That's like the French person's dream.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Well, you see, the solution is to get a French husband.
Yeah, exactly.
Like red, white?
Literally everything.
And
My
well, the city
favorite
itself as well.
French dish is... Ready? Okay.
Well, hello, Kylie.
Hi.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. Well, and the weather is a bit better. It's still hot,
It's better.
but it's way better than the
Way
past few
better.
days. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We passed the heat wave, apparently.
Yes.
And it's earlier in the morning, so maybe we won't melt down.
It was like a nice walk over here from the metro. So
But it's starting, well, I can feel it starting to.
yeah.
So, so you're an American girl.
Yes.
People have probably picked up the accent by now
Yeah.
already. Where are you from in the US?
I'm from Nebraska. It
Nice.
is. Okay. If you ever meet anyone from Nebraska, just say, "Oh, the heart of America," and they will love you. Because we're halfway between California, New York, North Dakota, and Texas.
Oh, right in the middle then.
Right in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
The art of America.
The heart of America, yeah.
Good. And so from Nebraska to Paris, I think you
Paris.
live in the Marais?
Yes. No, Montmartre.
Oh, Montmartre.
Montmartre,
Yes,
yes.
Montmartre. Oh, yes. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're the second American I'm interviewing who lives in Montmartre. It's
Oh,
a
really?
lovely district, yes.
I love it. I feel like our where we live is
It's good for the
actually
cows.
yes, but like it's like this way is super touristy and this way is super local, so it's like you get the best of both worlds.
It's right. Like for example, this studio is in the 16th. It's very, it's not that busy. It's not
No.
touristy at all. So like it's a place where people like to live in, but it's also quite quiet actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a bit too quiet for some.
Yeah.
So what was your revelation moment? Like, when did you want to call France home?
Okay, this is actually so I'm married to a French guy,
That helps.
but this is actually so my first trip to Paris was in 2017 with my sister.
Okay.
Okay. I loved it. But I remember telling her like, "Oh, one day I want to live here." It was never like one day I'm gonna live here, but I just was like, "Oh, I want to," but it feels like out of touch, like out
It's
of
almost
reach.
like shall rather than yeah.
Yeah. So I've always loved Paris. And then, I mean, eventually I met my husband and like, I don't know how that happened because he's Parisian and here I am.
But you met him.
I
here
met
or there?
him in Greece.
Oh.
So I met him in Greece and I was drunk. Can I say that?
Oh, yeah.
I was on a boat and he was on a different boat. He was on a family trip. And I was like, "Oh, that guy's cute. Let me see if he wants to have a drink." So he
Oh,
came
really?
over. Yeah. But I thought he was very annoying. His English was really bad at the time. So it's like kind of giving like creepy vibes.
Oh, yes.
But looking back, like his English was just bad. So we don't speak ever again. But we had each other's phone numbers. And 5 months later, I came on a solo trip to Paris. And it was like one of my last nights. And I was like, okay, like this annoying guy, he's so cute, but maybe he wants to have a drink. And I asked him, "Do you want to have a drink with me?" And he said yes. And he said he didn't remember who I was because he like deleted my contact and stuff, but he thought my WhatsApp picture was cute. So he came and came to my hotel and we went and had a drink. And this is a little psychotic, but I liked him so much I canceled my flight home, but I didn't tell him.
Whoa.
I did't tell him.
Oh,
So
yeah.
because I was hoping he'd ask me to hang out again.
It's quite a leap of faith.
And then he did. Yes. But here we are.
Wow.
So that's the...
You share some of those life stories because you're actually I'd love to know that because you call that you call yourself a travel nurse.
Yes.
Well, what's that actually?
So travel nursing, it's you have it in the United States, Canada, Australia, and it is basically you work as a contracted nurse for 13 weeks at any hospital in the United States.
Okay.
So there has to be like a want. You have to want to go somewhere, but there has to be a need from the hospital. And this is a really unique
But you're
career.
not like tied to a single hospital basically.
So like
Okay.
13 weeks. Like it's a really good opportunity to like explore America.
That sounds
And
nice.
then like you make double the pay you make as a regular nurse.
Sounds even nicer.
Yeah. So it's like it's really unique career, and I think that also, I was working as a travel nurse when I was in Greece and met Julian, my husband. So I had a lot of opportunity. After 13 weeks, you can take as much time off as you want. That's like the French person's dream.
Oh, yes.
Right?
A lot of holidays.
Yes, so many holidays, like all
Check
the
a lot of boxes already. Oh, yeah. You have your own, well, in a way, you went from travel nurse to content creator. You have something called passports and premies.
Yes, yes.
So, well, let's say, how did you transition?
So I started passports and preemies. I was working as a NICU nurse. So I don't know if you know, but neonatal intensive care, and that's premature babies that are sick. So that's where that part, passports and preemies. I was working, volunteering in Skopje, North Macedonia. Mm-hmm. So I started my like blog then, just like document what I was doing. And then it kind of grew into, I realized there was a need for education around travel nursing, but nurses in the United States work 3 days a week. So that means we have over 200 days off a year. So then I started to realize, like, wow, we have such a unique opportunity to travel.
All the nurses French in the US? To have that much holidays?
I just talked to a French nurse who moved from France to the US, and it was so interesting to kind of compare the two. But yeah, she was saying that, but in France, I think you can work like maybe 4 days, but sometimes she said she worked 3 days a week.
We don't know about the nurse schedule in France. I know about the holidays. We have at least 5 weeks a year paid holiday, but usually we have the RTT, which is réduction du temps de travail. And basically, if you work over extra hours, then you can also get extra holidays for that.
Yeah, so I don't know if any French nurses are listening, but if they are, you can have 200 days off a year if you move to the United States.
Sounds great. I mean, especially, sounds great to my French ears. Okay. So you've written also, well, a lot of travel guides, which is, well, kind of tied. And, well, yes and no at the same time. So you're living in one now.
Yes.
So can you share a few of those daily surprises in your life in France?
I think that, like, what I wasn't necessarily prepared for, or like I wasn't expecting, even though, you know, I've visited before I moved here and have obviously done like so much research on Paris and France, but the French just have like such a unique culture and a unique way of doing things, and it's something I really appreciate. Like, you haven't let, it's something that bothers me, but I love. Like, you haven't let like technology, not that you don't have technology, but come in and ruin things for you, or like, you know, processes can be slower, which is like frustrating at times, but I also appreciate it in the sense that, like, you know, we're all just here taking our time, enjoying life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, well, it does, because, well, it happened to me the other way around. For example, in a business meeting in New York that I remember, New York.
Yeah.
Never been to the US, I've been to New York. But yeah. And I was, well, it was basically end of the morning, and the guy was like, okay, we can have a bite if you like. I'm like, yeah, sure. And so very quickly I realized we were getting to a food truck, which, like, you know, well, there's a few in Paris, but not that many.
You have food trucks here? Oh, like a creperie.
Yeah, but that's basically,
not
let's say
like
it's non-existent.
Okay.
Well, there are a few, but it's close to, it's definitely not like in New York. And so we were heading to a food truck, and I'm like, okay, well, in my head, I'm like, okay, I don't mind the junk food, but also I realized that the goal was to get the food and like hit it on the way back to the office. You know, like you could do, because it's more efficient. But I'm like, I remember saying, well, I'm sorry, I'm too French.
Yes.
I need to sit down to, you know,
Okay, that's the word I'm looking for, efficiency. It's like, I love being efficient. I hate wasting my time. And so, like, when I do something here that wastes my time, which kind of happens a lot, I get so bothered. But like, if I go to a restaurant, like, I want to be inefficient. I love that. Like, I love hours long meals, and I hate that they, in the US, it's like, you take your food, you eat at your desk while you're working. Like,
yeah, especially if you're in a somewhat of a fancy restaurant, like a 2 hours lunch.
Is not
normal. Unusual.
Yeah. If I leave before 2 hours, sometimes I'm like, well, that was really short.
It's like they're looking at, oh, you're leaving already?
Yes, yeah.
And, well, France is also, I'd say, infamously famous for its bureaucracy and admin. So well, do you have any memorable encounters or experiences with the French bureaucracy?
I think it's just, adjusting my own expectations. Like, I'm trying to learn here. It's like, okay, my husband always tells me, like, you're not going to get anywhere, like, by getting mad at someone. But I think, like, this is bad. But in America, it's like, oh, the customer's always right. So it's like, I can get mad and then I get a result.
Oh, I've heard something. An American client who was arguing with a French seller. I don't know what that guy was doing, but I remember them arguing, and the American, like, I was seeing that in real life, and the American guy say, well, in the US, customer is king.
Yeah.
And like the Frenchman literally answered, but in France, we behave the kings.
Wait, that's
we
good.
beheaded the king.
That's really good.
But
I love that.
Yes, the response was the best ever. I was like, in a way, it's so not customer friendly, the answer, but also it's so funny because
also,
like a culture shock.
Like, I don't know if you've realized this, but I think French people like kind of talk in circles. Like, I'll be with my husband trying to figure something out, like at the bank. This just happened. And it's the conversations in French, so I really don't know what's happening. But 10 minutes goes by and then I'm like, okay, so what's the solution? He's like, oh, I don't know. We're just still talking about the problem. I'm like, but let's get to a solution here. Like, I don't know.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, a little bit.
In a way, there's chit chat without it being chit chatting. I don't know.
Yeah,
how
and
we
it's
do
like
that.
they're fighting. It's just like they're talking about. I'm like, but come on, it's Saturday. Let's go. Yeah.
No, but like you were saying, I really feel that we like to take our time with people. When I'm with you, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. Phone down. Ideally, is not facing me. I was like, so that because I'm supposed to dedicate my time to you. I think it's an unwritten rule, part of the French culture. Indeed, it was like when you're doing something or with someone, like you're doing it. Like you have to be invested in this, because I don't know. It's kind of the contract.
Yeah.
And especially with someone.
I like that. Yeah. I've learned to love that about French people and the French culture.
And so bureaucracy, I suppose you have it easy because you have a French husband. So I suppose
he does a lot of it.
Well, you see, the solution is to get a French husband.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, actually, this is one of those, because your boyfriend, who is no husband, okay, so lives in France, but he's French. His mother lives in France, which makes it a cross-cultural relationship.
Yes.
So, any fun anecdote about that? Because maybe about, dating and stuff, that things you expect and he expects. And
Oh, yeah. I think when we first started dating, like, some of the things that he would do, I couldn't tell. Is it like some things would give me the ick. And it's like, is it giving me the ick because he's weird, or is it a French cultural thing? And luckily I learned it was French cultural things. Like, for instance, do you have a credit card?
I think we just have debit cards.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So when he told me this, I don't have a credit, I was like, why doesn't he have a credit card? Maybe he doesn't have a job. Yeah, I was so stressed about this. But he was stressed that I have 3 credit cards because he's like, you're bad with your money. I'm like, I've never ever paid interest on my credit card.
Because we don't have the credit score in France.
Yes, yeah. So little things like that. And then I think just, dealing with each other's friends, meeting friends. French people, to me, are a lot more reserved, and it takes a little bit. Yeah. Not once you get to know you're.
This is exactly what we think about Americans, by the way. That in a way you're more forward, more warm, upfront.
Yes.
It might actually be harder to make friends with Americans. I don't know, but you look more friendly up front.
Yes.
Don't know if it's real or not, but the French, I know, is no, there's no facade.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know you.
I have heard 2 French girls say that have both lived in America say one of their issues with Americans is that they're so friendly, but then they will talk bad about other people. So you're like, oh, are you just being nice to me because you're supposed to and you really don't like me? And that is true, unfortunately. I grew up in that dynamic, so to me it's just a normal thing. But you're right, here it's it might be seemingly harder to make French friends, but not necessarily, because you're very honest and you say what you mean and there's no two-facedness about it.
Yeah, well, obviously we're generalizing, but yes, on average, the French are a bit more brutally honest usually.
Yeah.
Yes, but again, I mean, no, we're not animals. Don't worry.
No, it's like something you can appreciate.
Yeah,
I think
no,
it's
but
a
I
good
mean,
thing.
we will butter it up a bit, though.
Yeah.
But in a way, if we don't like you, we don't like you. If I don't know you, I don't know you.
Yes.
So we'll be polite. But yes, I might say. But then once you've broken the ice as well, like if you're invited for an aperitif, an apéro, like you're part of the friend group.
Yeah, yeah.
This is also once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, yeah.
So
true.
and it can actually happen very quickly if they like you. It's just like straight up front. They don't pretend.
No.
Like yeah.
No.
You also, because well, you've been both traveling and then living in Paris. So, well, budget-wise, like budgeting for a travel to Paris or living in Paris, what are the main difference, like, the different perspective or advice you may have for people who want to, well, either travel or move to Paris?
I think like two different pieces of advice, because I think traveling to Paris is like quite expensive, because if you're traveling here, say you're only coming one time, it's like you're going to want to stay in those fancy hotels. It's going to be an expensive trip. But I do think living here, like I know it's one of the most expensive cities, but from an American view, coming here, it's like, well, the thing is, okay, so like in Chicago, I was living before I moved here really. My rent was a lot more money, the groceries, everything, but wages
Chicago was
are
more
higher.
expensive than Paris in terms of rent as well.
Yeah, but wages are higher, so it's kind of hard to compare. You move here, your wages, like, so I tell people, oh, my rent in Montmartre.
Oh, good.
I'm trying so hard.
Nice, good.
Is €1,200.
That's not that bad.
It's 29 square meters. This is small.
Yeah.
But like in Chicago, I was paying like over $2,000.
But by the end of the interview, I'll try to get you to say grenouille, which is the hardest word to say.
Okay. So it's like when I tell Americans, I pay $1,200 rent, they're like, oh, that's so cheap. But they don't understand also like wages are lower.
Well, then, yeah, for those who are lucky to come, like, I don't know, retirees who already have like an American, well, let's say wage or payroll or income stream, it's going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, massively.
But this is another thing that gave me the ick. Julian told me his salary when we met, and I was like, no, that's not true. I think you're wrong. And he was like, no, this is my salary. I was like, but now it's like, to me that we live here, I'm like, oh, that's all you could ever need and more, like, perfect.
No, yeah. It's here, for example, I don't know, like 50,000 a year. That's a big payroll in France, which is probably like in quite a lower bands in the US. So yeah, it's definitely not the same kind of. I think the average net wage in France, so it includes Parisian salaries and so and all the wealthy people, is around 2,000 net a month.
Yeah, so it's hard to me to compare. Like visiting, I think you'll spend a lot of money, you'll think it's expensive, but like living here, if you come from the United States, you'll think it's affordable.
Because you obviously you know the ins and out of the US healthcare system.
Yes.
Well, I suppose not the French one, but maybe you've learned a thing or two. So how would you compare, American healthcare with the French one, even if you've not worked in France? But
I think what I'm learning, because I love to talk to people about healthcare. What I'm learning is, well, one, it's free here. You pay in your taxes. And in the U.S., obviously, that's not how it is. I think in the U.S., we're very, very good at, like, emergency care, okay? The ER doctor, I don't think we're good at primary care, and I think that's a problem. Like, Americans are very sick and unhealthy because, in my opinion, we don't focus on the primary care. Prevention.
Which is a huge thing here, yes.
Here, yes. I feel like here, maybe, and again, I've never been to the hospital here, so I can't say for sure, but like to me, I feel so much more comfortable going to a primary care doctor in France versus America, but I think I feel more comfortable having an emergency in America versus France.
I've been on the board of French CPAM, which is French. And by the way, this is a false French because we call that social security.
Okay.
Which in the US is like the pension.
Yes, okay.
And so in France, social security is public health care.
Yeah.
So I've been on the board of that, French social security health care. And so I was just obviously during the quarterly audits, we were just reviewing the data and the thing that struck me is that indeed there's a lot of campaigns and prevention campaigns. So around that, like helping people eat healthier or, to prevent, I don't know, diabetes, coronary disease, all of that is a lot invested. I think indeed the thing where it's not that we're not good, but the thing where we might be less efficient is indeed the ER. It's not that, if it's a life-threatening emergency.
No, for sure,
good, but,
for sure.
But it's not structured and organized around that like it would be in the US, indeed, where that's why it's more efficient. Here it's really like if you go, a lot of people go to the ER also. That's the problem because it's free. Like you just have a small cut, you'd go to the ER, and that's why they have to manage all those people as well. That's why like filter out those who are in real emergencies compared to. But I think the mentality here is indeed prevention as much as possible, rather than curing.
Yeah.
But
and I appreciate that. Is it true that there's a law here that if you want to advertise, like maybe not in Paris, but like when you're driving, like in the country, whatever, if you want to advertise fast food, there has to be a certain distance between the next advertisement?
Oh, I don't know about that, but there has to be I'll throw a random example, but for example, cigarettes or any kind of things that you have to smoke, well, if they advertise about that, they have to say it kills on the ad. Plainly, or things like that. So they have to say downside, like on the packaging.
Yeah.
They have to say if it's good or bad for health, like the letters.
Okay.
A, B, C, D, like
yes, I like that. In the grocery store, everything is. Yeah. But my husband, when he came to Chicago and we did a road trip, and he's like, "Why is there so many fast food signs?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, there's like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC." I'm like, "I don't know, because there's fast food." He thought that was so strange because if you do a road trip here, you don't see this.
Yeah, I know. There's not that many. I think it's also there's not that many ads. I mean,
yeah.
Same. I mean, if we compare, yes, no, definitely less.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice actually for aspiring travel nurses? Because that's also what you do.
Yes. I think my advice, travel nursing, but you can relate this to really anything in life. Travel nursing can be scary because you're essentially leaving your home hospital, your job, your comfort zone, what you're good at, the people you know, your apartment, and you are trying something new that you might not like and that is not permanent, right? So I find when I talk to other nurses that that's like a really scary concept. And my advice is always like, you don't want to look back on your life in 10 years and think, oh, I wish I would have tried that. It's better to look back in 10 years and say like, oh, I'm so glad I tried that. It wasn't for me, or maybe it is for you, and I'm glad I tried it, and I know.
Yeah, at least you've tried a lot of different things, so in a way, you know better what you like and don't like, or what you want.
And you can really relate that to anything in life. It's like if you're thinking of making a change, like you don't want to look back in 10 years and be like, oh, what if I would have tried that?
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, I'm like this, but I understand some people are more cautious. Yeah. I'd say, just to be cheeky, dream French destination you haven't been to yet.
Okay. Yes. But it comes with a caveat.
Oh.
Like,
what is it?
I also want to have a lot of money to go there. But like,
is it Monaco?
No, actually, I would just say the French Riviera, but I want to stay in like the really nice hotels.
Who wouldn't want?
And like, yeah. But I think if I was going to surprise somebody, because everyone wants to go to the French Riviera, I would say, I'm not going to be able to say it right, but there's this place south of Bordeaux on the coast, and it's called Biarritz.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's where you live?
Yes.
I heard this is so nice.
It is, and it's a very, very peculiar place because it's so first there's a massive palace which has been built by Napoleon III as a gift to his wife Josephine. Like they knew how to court the ladies back then. But also has been under a lot of Russian influence. So, and it's a region where it's something we call the Basque country. So there's very typical folklore-ish kind of architecture with buildings in green and red. Okay. Like the Chartreuse and stuff. Like it's actually very standardized and normalized, and so it's stereotypical to the area, except for Biarritz, where you have those Well, it looks like you're in Moscow or something, literally.
Okay.
Like you have those typical, Basque buildings next to Russian type of architectures,
Okay.
because back in the Tsar revolutions, when they were kicked out, basically all the oligarchs in like early 1800s, then they flew to Biarritz,
Okay.
most of them, and they built like, again, Russian castle and
Yeah.
stuff. And so obviously those are still here nowadays, plus the influence from Napoleon III, who wanted to develop the port in Bayonne, and so Biarritz is just right across. Made it a very like the posh place
Yeah.
of the area. So
Okay.
it's quite unique. It's small,
Yeah.
but it's quite unique.
I've heard just like people that have visited there like love it.
And it's funny because it's also where the surf culture started in France.
The what culture?
The surf culture.
Oh, okay,
surfing.
that's what I've heard. Yeah. Okay.
And it's funny because, well, weather-like, it is nothing alike, but the guys in Biarritz, they think it's basically California there.
Okay.
I was like, well, weather-like, California is more like Nice, indeed, the
Okay,
Riviera.
okay.
But there's no waves there.
Yeah.
And so obviously the guys in Biarritz, I mean, we think it's like, yeah, because we have the waves,
Do you surf?
this is, well, I used to, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a while, but
Okay.
like surfer years, I had to stop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really want to go here, and I feel like Americans. I've never heard one American say I want to go to Biarritz. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's,
Okay.
no, but I mean, I'm surprised you know the place. It's,
Yes, I've heard. Like it's like
There's an airport.
okay, okay.
not
I
a big
really
one,
want to go here.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, this one is probably, though, I mean, as it's smaller, it's probably more affordable. For those who want a fancy trip, it's probably more affordable.
yeah,
than-
and if people like off the beaten path, like places.
For example, I might be a bit off, but like off the top of my head, like a night at so this is a palace, like we're talking like the Ritz, okay? Like
Okay.
the Grand Palais, it's the name, the Grand Palais in Biarritz.
Okay.
It's literally like the Ritz here in Paris, or like one of those palaces, okay?
Okay.
It's a massively big palace. Well, it used to be the emperor's property, basically.
Okay.
So there's
That's nice.
just one emperor. So it's a nice place, and I think a night there starts at like $350 a night, which is a lot, and you know,
That's a lot.
it's a lot, but
I
like
think it's a
the
lot.
Ritz is 2,500.
Yes, I mean compared to
So,
that, yeah.
If we're talking luxuries, okay, so yeah.
But can I ask you, what would be like I mean, you're from here, so what would be your place that you feel like is a total gem in France?
Well, I love all corners of France,
Okay.
so it's difficult for me. I mean, but for different reasons. It depends actually what's your jam. What do
Yeah,
you like?
Okay.
Because, for example, for food and drinks, I
Yes.
love Burgundy.
Yeah.
I love Lyon. Lyon is for the food culture.
I just went there. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. And,
My
well, the city
favorite
itself as well.
French
but, yeah.
dish is ready. Okay. Quenelles.
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 Oh, this one is
Quenelles.
difficult to pronounce, yes.
Yeah, everyone thinks I'm saying cannel.
Oh,
You know, yeah. Okay.
No, what is
This
it?
French dish
really?
from
This
Lyon.
is, what? Yeah, well, see, la Quenelle lyonnaise.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's well. There's so much diversity. I love it. But then I don't know if you like green. There's central France, or Brittany. Obviously, if you like Californian kind of landscapes, there is the French Riviera. Then a bit, if you get there's a place called La Camargue where we literally have wild horses and stuff like central,
Okay.
like Midwest US or something.
Okay.
So I love the Pyrenees, but like more for hiking and sightseeing. If it's for skiing, it's rather like the Alps. There's,
Okay.
but again, it's so diverse. There's I love Bordeaux. They call it like the small Paris.
Yeah.
So it's smaller, cheaper, but it's also just 2 hours from Paris. Like you can hop on a train.
yeah.
It's a fast train, so
So
it's very
nice, yeah.
close. No, it's difficult for me to pinpoint a single.
Okay, yeah.
I
Yeah.
really love all corners of France.
Yeah.
And
And they're all very unique.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you take the US and you compress that to the size of France, and you have as much diversity.
Yes,
But
yeah. It
Which
is
is
a
surprising
very
because it's the size of
Special country.
Texas, basically.
Yeah. I love it.
Brilliant. And so, what's your favorite? Paris.
Paris.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we've noted that if you're up for donations,
yeah.
sponsor a trip to the Riviera, a fancy trip to the
Oh,
Riviera.
I love it. Yeah. Luxury.
Okay, so before we call it a wrap, I love to do that, like a quick fire round, to end this interview.
I'm ready.
If you're up for it.
I'm up for it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, so Eiffel Tower. yeah?
Okay.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Oh, okay. Well, any favorite French word or phrase?
Qu'est-ce que c'est? But
What is it?
what is it? Because it's easy for me to say.
Yeah. Well, in a way, it's also like what's that?
Yeah.
What's that, yeah? Favorite French wine or drink? Because there is a debate. There's a war going on, Bordeaux and Burgundy. You know?
Something I'm starting to appreciate is digestif.
Oh.
Like Chartreuse? Chartreuse?
Chartreuse?
Yeah.
This
That's better.
Really? They got you to drink that?
Yeah, that's French, right?
It is, yes.
I'm like starting to like...
It's a bit strong, isn't it?
But I'm like a wine girl for sure.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't discriminate against
Like
anyone.
red, white?
Literally everything.
That's the best answer. So Paris, obviously, well, more like metro, bike, or walking?
Walking.
Good answer. Well, unless it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you also do. I didn't speak about that, but you also do some pictures and photos. So, what is the most photogenic spot in Paris?
Montmartre. Everywhere in Montmartre.
Ah, yeah.
I feel like Eiffel
Second
Tower
time
is
I've heard
overrated.
that, so I'm starting
yeah.
to believe that.
Yeah.
Well, I know this could be up for debate in the US. So, French cheese, yeah or nay?
Yay. All the way. The smellier, the better. I love the blue cheese.
That's not American compatible,
no.
is it?
That's why I'm destined for France.
You're wrong. Are you rather café au lait or espresso?
Espresso.
Oh, it's a bit of Italian though, yeah. So let's see how French you became. So, kiss on the cheeks or hugs?
Hugs.
Okay.
I hate the kiss on the cheeks. I can't. I'm so awkward.
So, yeah. Well, same for us with hugs.
Yeah.
It's funny because we think it's too intimate, and you think kissing is intimate.
Yes.
It's funny.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Kylie. I mean, it's been so funny and insightful. And honestly, I wasn't even aware of that travel nursing stuff, so I learned a lot.
Very unique.
Thank you for sharing your French adventures with us.
Yes.
Thank you for coming here. And we're still kind of cool-ish.
Yes.
So let's hope it remains so.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Au revoir.
Au revoir.